I'm Stephen Majors with the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine. Happy to be joined by Charlene Son Rigby, the CEO of Global Genes. Charlene, pleasure to have you on ARM Studios.
Thanks for having me.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about Global Genes, how it got its start, and how you got involved in the organization?
Yes, Global Genes has been in the patient advocacy space for about 15 years, very focused on empowering and enabling rare disease patients and advocates. I'm very new to the organization. We actually had a merger at the end of 2022, and I came in through the merger. Global Genes and RareX merged at the end of 2022, and RareX is another nonprofit that was focused on collecting robust patient-owned data, longitudinal data, to characterize rare diseases, as well as start to develop the data to support clinical trial design. And what we found was that was a very complementary set of capabilities to Global Genes. So Global Genes, as I mentioned, has been around for 15 years, really focused on empowering advocates with a goal, with programs in support and education. And what we found was that advocacy has really fundamentally changed in the last 15 years. And this is being driven by a number of things, including why I'm here at this conference. And what we're seeing is that advocates are now no longer waiting for progress in their disorder. They are really taking matters into their own hands and starting to drive forward progress, including progress in research. And so we came together as a combined organization at the end of December around this concept of the next generation advocate.
And so in terms of advocacy, what are your major priorities? Where are you spending most of your time?
We have 3 pillars where we organize our offerings. And so those are support, education, and research. And so in the support area, we have key programs that support individual patients as well as give them information on additional resources and start to give them toolkits to develop capabilities. And so one of our key programs there in the support arena is our patient navigation service called Concierge. And it might be the first point of contact for a rare disease patient outside of their healthcare provider. And then from an education standpoint, we have toolkits, as I mentioned. We also have several key events, including our annual summit, the Rare Advocacy Summit that takes place in September, which has now been combined with our Health Equity Forum.
Great. And can you talk a little bit more about your health equity aims and what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, health equity is an incredibly important issue within rare disease. And so it is one of our strategic focuses that really goes across all of our pillars. So as I mentioned, the Health Equity Forum is a conference that we run with a real focus on the intersection between health equity and rare disease. There are many deep-seated challenges in healthcare as well as in research that really impact marginalized populations in terms of thinking forward about them being able to participate in research, novel therapies, and then getting equitable health care.
And of course, we've seen an acceleration of approvals in gene therapies the last couple of years, particularly this year. As a rare disease advocacy organization, what are your hopes for gene therapy currently and going forward, and what are some of the concerns you have?
Less than 5% of rare diseases have a therapy, an approved therapy today. And so there is a huge unmet need across the rare disease landscape for therapies and hopefully even effective therapies. And from my view, cell and gene therapies are, really hold this promise of being able to be transformative in terms of addressing this unmet need. So I talked before about next generation advocacy and how the role of patients and advocates has really changed. This new technology around genetic therapies has, I think, really this potential for being able to transform this landscape and is one of the drivers for why we're seeing advocacy change.
And then how did you get involved in this line of work? I mean, why are you doing this instead of something else?
So I've spent most of my career in the data analytics space. So taking large data sets, big data, and building analytics solutions to enable people to get fast insights out of that data. And I've done that in enterprise software as well as in healthcare. My last company on the commercial side, because now have moved over to the dark side or to nonprofit, but my last commercial company made artificial intelligence solutions to combine symptom data with whole genome data to accelerate rare disease diagnostics. And at the same time that I started working at that organization, my second child was born, and it turned out that she had a rare genetic neurodevelopmental disorder. And so that opened up a whole new world for me, where I moved out of a technologist role, a business role, into being a parent and trying to navigate this world of rare disease. So we were very lucky. We found a small group of other parents who wanted to start a foundation to accelerate research in my daughter's disorder. So at the time, there were a handful of researchers and 200 kids who had been diagnosed. And so we did that in 2017. And what I started to realize was that as we were starting to build up data, start to build up the beginnings of natural history data, start to build a research plan, and all of these pieces of advancing research, we were, doing things in a way that wasn't necessarily the same as, all of these other rare disease groups. And I kept thinking, how can we do this in a way that will truly accelerate things across rare diseases? And so I was kind of thinking about this problem and mainly focused on the data area, since that's what my background is. And I met the team at RareX that was already starting to do this in terms of creating a data collection research program for rare disease.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, thanks so much for spending time with us on ARM Studios, and hope you enjoy the conference.
Thanks so much.